So now we see how Randall got Alex. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to KRS TV. This is your boy Kenny, and this is If Loving You Is Wrong, Season 5, Episode 2, and the name of this episode is The Red Dress. I do apologize that these reviews are late. I had an issue going on with my cable. We actually upgraded and it was just crazy. So there was a lot of shows I missed and I had to wait till everything was set up, so I can go back and rewatch everything. But I got a lot of them coming, so please stay tuned. But yes, this episode was really good. And it picked up where it left off. Eddie comes in there drinking a 40, talking all this crazy shit to Lucian about Kelly being dead. We come to find out, Lucian is, ready to beat Eddie's ass because he's being all kind of disrespectful, using all of this, pretty much, racial epitaphs and everything, then talking about some, damn affirmative action and all this shit. Eddie is just so disrespectful that you just want to just drag him just for the fact that he opens his mouth. And Lucian is really getting pissed off, and he knows he's, really starting to rub Lucian the wrong way. Stevens comes in there and lets him know that, look, Kelly's not dead, and eventually, Eddie goes back to his little corner, still talking shit. But then also, Stevens came in there to let him know that Randall has been calling 7 times into the police, and that he wants somebody else to come check it out. He didn't want Lucian or didn't want Stevens, so Lucian sent Rick over there to go check it out. And then we see that Steven and Lucian actually talk about Kelly's case, and they discussed that the DA is building a case against Kelly, and Stevens tells Lucian that she should go talk to him, and Lucian was like, now this woman can't stand me, but I'll see what I can do. So then we see that Rick and another officer go to see Randall. Let me say, Psycho Betty is really showing his ass this season, because he calls them over saying that Brad was the one who locked him in the shed and nearly set him on fire, just straight telling lies, and then says that he got proof, and and that he tried to kill me and all this shit. So they go in there, and you remember, Randall had that whole security thing that he had set up where he can videotape everything that's going on in Brad and Alex's house and shit. So he goes to check his computers, thinking he gonna have something to show that Brad was on the property so he can get Brad arrested, but he's not getting anything on his computer. He goes to check and see that the damn hard drive is gone, and he knows damn well Marcy was the one that took it, so he's flipping the fuck out. And then he was pretty much saying that, yeah, but he did do it, so won't y'all take y'all asses over there and arrest Brad? And then he was like, well, why? He's like, I knew this bastard did this and all of that. And then, Rick was like, but correct me if I'm wrong, but, weren't you sleeping with his wife? And he was like, yeah, I was banging that bitch like crazy. And I'm like, oh, really, Randall? So he just talking reckless to the police or whatever. And he just flipping off like, oh, Marcy, you clever bitch. Ooh, you bitch. So they go back and forth, and then he just starts talking crazy shit to them, talking about some bye officer, and he was like, get your ass out of my house. And then all of a sudden Rick was like, what you just say to me? I'm like, Rick was about to forget he was a cop, and he was about to knock Psycho Betty upside his damn head, but he ended up walking off. And then Randall just being all crazy like, bye officer, bye officer. I'm like, see, Randall ain't gonna be happy that somebody take his ass out, because that's the only way that Randall's gonna stop. Randall's, sanity has completely left his body. There's no more sanity there. Now I'm gonna talk about this whole thing with Natalie and Esperanza. And I'm about to roast the shit out of Esperanza because she really pisses me off. Because here it is, they're discussing Kelly and about Kelly attempting suicide. And in this conversation, Esperanza is being very judgmental about Kelly. Like, I don't understand why she would do something like that. I could never do that to Micah. Bitch, you ain't in Kelly's situation with your stuck-up ass. You're not being railroaded by the system and is about to lose your son and could possibly face that's about to face life in prison and is about to lose your son. Like, and this is something that I've also noticed too, is that she's very judgmental when it comes to Kelly, but is very sympathetic when it comes to Alex. And Alex is the main antagonist in this whole damn show. Her and Randall started all the bullshit in that damn neighborhood. But when it comes to Kelly, she's very judgmental, and we see that there's some type of racial bias there where she's more sympathetic to the white woman but wants to judge the blacks. And we see that not only was she being judgmental to Kelly, we see later on she was judgmental to Rick, and I'm gonna get to that. But Esperanza was really pissing me off because I'm like, bitch, you're not even in Kelly's situation, and you need to be thankful that you're not. But to sit here and judge Kelly like you've been through that, you way off. And Natalie, on the other hand, Natalie's a realist because later on, after they talk, they go to see Alex, and Alex is feeling remorseful and, you know, I caused all of this. This is all my fault. And then Natalie was like, well, hell yeah. Like, and then here you go, Esperanza. Oh my God, are you trying to make her feel worse? He's like, I ain't trying to make her feel worse, but hey, you did this and you need to own it. So we just see that, yeah, Natalie ain't here for Alex's shit. And she's pretty much saying that, look, you caused all of this shit. But then we see that the new neighbor, Bennett, comes over there to check on Alex. And I kind of see it that, yeah, there's going to be something that might spark between Alex and Bennett. Because we know that Alex is a slut. And she's looking for someone to hold on to because she done alienated both Brad, and Randall ain't thinking about her ass right now either. So even though he was trying to fill her up in that shed, but we see that Randall done set his sights on something else, and I'm gonna get to that too. But all of a sudden we see that you know, damn Tanya just comes over and she's mad as hell. Like, you're gonna be late to work today. Let's go. And just kind of like turned to her and just kind of walked away from the girls. Didn't even acknowledge them really. And they like, damn, there's some trouble there. I'm like, yeah, because she got a fine man and he obviously got a thing with the ladies. Because they all were like into him, and you just see that Bennett is like that person that as soon as he sees something, he gonna jump into it. So we're already kind of getting a vibe. That's how Bennett is. But I think more is going to be revealed about him later. And also, you know, they also discuss, you know, Natalie discusses, like, you know, Kelly's suicide note with Esperanza, too. And, you know, and then, like, they pretty much talk about that. But then, oh, yeah, and then another thing, when she found out that Alex was in that shit and it was about to get set on fire, Esperanza all of a sudden got in her feelings. Oh, my God, we need to check on her. Well, bitch, you need to be breaking your fucking neck to try to get justice for Kelly. Instead of sitting up here judging Kelly for the fact that she almost took her own life. Like, she's literally being railroaded. Anybody going through that will want to do that, especially if you're not fit for that prison lifestyle. And we know that Kelly probably grew up in a suburban neighborhood and never really been in the hood and never been to prison. After all, she did have some criminal activity, and her baby daddy went to prison for her ass. So she ain't about that life. So now she going through it. She's falling apart. Then I'm going to talk about now was Marcy and Brad. Marcy gets back to the house. She reveals to Brad that she took the hard drive. And, you know, she pretty much, and Brad was like, okay, good. Now all we have to do now is destroy it. So we see that he's trying to get her to calm down and get her to drink some water. But no, she don't want water. She want vodka. And she drinking vodka like water, which is why they call vodka the woman's drink, because back in the early days where men were drinking their scotch or their bourbon, women weren't allowed to drink. vodka looks like water, so women were able to drink too, and the men wouldn't even know either way because vodka's clear. But yeah, she was literally drinking that vodka like it was water, and she was pretty much saying, I hate this son of a bitch. You know, because he had actually called her and was like, I know you took the hard drive to protect your man. And she says, don't call me ever again. I hate you, you son of a bitch. So she pretty much just drinking, and she's saying, like, I wish that both of them were dead. You know, they keep taking life from me over and over again. And, you know, they just go back and forth about it and all that. And pretty much he's trying to reason with her, saying that, look, you are too angry and you need to talk to somebody. You need to kind of resolve some of this anger. Yeah, both of y'all need counseling. Because you've been dealing with a lot of shit, and so is she. So both of you were in the same boat. Both of y'all need to be sitting in front of a shrink, airing out your issues. Because right now, she's operating in madness. And she pretty much tells him that, look, you were a special officer in the army, right? So you know somebody. And he's like, know somebody for what? She's like, know somebody that will kill him. You know, he's not going to stop. You know. And she's like, I don't deserve this. I never did anything to him. You know, and I'm like, yeah, because as we seen, you know, Psycho Betty got a God complex. He can do everything to everybody else, but can't nobody do nothing to him. And he's pretty much saying that, look, Marcy, you're upset. You don't know what you're saying. She's like, oh, I know exactly what I'm saying. And then all of a sudden, you know, she gets another call thinking that it might be Randall. It turns out it's Ian's punk ass. Because right now, I don't care for Ian. And it's real funny that, you know, because you already see that Brad don't even like Ian. He's like, oh yeah, your little boyfriend calling. I'm like, oh, now we getting jealous because now there's another guy vying for Marcy. But then again, I'm Team Brad because I don't fuck with Ian. Because as long as he's letting Kelly rot in jail when you know she's innocent, Ian ain't shit in my boat. Fuck Ian. So she calls Ian, and Ian picks up the phone, and he was like, oh, I've been trying to reach you. And he was like, okay, I can meet you over there, you know, to give you the keys to the house and all that shit. Oh, it's funny you can answer the phone when she called, but your ass can't answer the phone when Lucian been calling you. Lucian gonna put that shit together, and by the end of this shit, he gonna have both Ian and motherfucking Larry in the bottom of the dirt. Because Lucian is really trying to get all the answers he can, and the fact that Ian is being very standoffish, he gonna get to the bottom of this shit, because Ian was kind of like his go-to guy, you know, to get help and stuff like that, and now Ian won't pick up the phone. Oh, but he picking up that phone for Marcy though. So I'm peeping the bullshit. So then we get a scene with Kelly. She's in the infirmary. She's freaking out. And she's talking about how I killed him. I killed Travis. She's handcuffed to the bed. And the nurse, was being real hard with her, saying that you need to take this to calm down. Either you take it or we'll force it in you. I will get a needle and I will force it in your veins and all this shit. I'm like, because this is how they treat prison patients. Which is really fucked up, because these are still human beings here. You know, but then we see that Lucian comes, and she tells Lucian that he's not supposed to be there. But then he's like, look, but then she tells him, okay, I'll give you some time, but if you get caught, I'm throwing you under the bus, because I ain't going down for your shit. So we see that he tries to talk to her, and, you know, she says, you know, I want to go home, and he lets her know that you can and all that. And then he pulls up a picture of Justice. Oh, she flips out. She breaks down. And she's like, I did it. And he was like, yeah, you snapped. I'm like, yeah, anybody would have snapped in a situation like that, because Travis was a fucking lunatic. And I have to say, Edwina was really doing her thing in that scene. Like, she really was going off. And I have to say, she really did a good job in that scene right there. And he's pretty much saying that, you know, you need to breathe and relax, and that Justice loves you. And I want to bring you home to him and all of that. And he's saying that, look, you can do this. And then he says that if Eddie comes by your cell again, you tell me. And she was like, huh? And he was like, didn't Eddie come by your cell and talk to you? He's like, no, he didn't. So Eddie is just being a vindictive asshole, fucking with Lucien, saying that he went by Kelly's cell and that she's dead and all this shit. So we already see that he's fucking with Lucien, and Lucien is just gonna have more ammunition to fuck up Eddie later, because Eddie needs his ass whooped, especially what he does at the end of this episode. Eddie on some other shit, big time. Oh yeah, and then I talked about how, you know, they were talking about, oh, I deserve this. You know, I started all this. And then, like, Natalie was like, well, hell yeah, you did, bitch. Talking about Alex's ass. Because she did. And then she also talks, and then also Alex also talks about how she, you know, Brad was about to move back in, but then he lied about, she lied to Brad about the DNA results, and they're saying take the test again. I'm like, yeah, because you may find out that the baby may not be Randall's, but it may be Brad's, and that baby's dark because Alex, it probably taking more Alex out of the family, because I'm pretty sure as racist as Alex's family, really how racist as Alex's family was, they probably was, you know, dipping in the chocolate. I'm just saying. So it'll be interesting to see how that's gonna play out. But I'm thinking that Brad is actually the father of that baby. It's just that the two older kids took more of Brad's genes, and there's gonna be some stuff about Alex's history that we're gonna find out too. So yeah, so they pretty much talked about that, and yeah, and they also clocked Tanya's ass about Bennett, that, you know, she watches him like a hawk. I'm like, hell yeah, because she don't trust his motherfucking ass. Oh yeah, then we also see back at Randall's house, Randall is still calling Larry. You know, he's saying, you better answer my phone, motherfucker, or I'm coming down there, and I'm gonna bring hell with me, because he's mad because Larry, you know, tricked him into signing those divorce papers, you know, between him and Marcy. Then all of a sudden he starts looking at the window, and he starts to see that damn Tanya. Tanya literally has like compulsive anxiety issues, because we just see her coming out the house, opening the mailbox, going back in the house, and she's doing it over and over again. Like, she keeps checking the mailbox and going back in the house, then comes out, checks the mailbox. And the fact that that damn evil psycho Betty is a psychiatrist, he's examining this, he's like, oh damn, I think I can have real fun with you. Like, look at you, little crazy, looking all sexy and shit. I'm like, oh no the fuck you not. But that's how he got Alex. He saw Alex's insecurities and he jumped on it. And that's what he does. That's how he picks all his people. And he's like, man, look at our ass, you know, with our OCD. This gonna be fun. I'm like, oh shit. Randall now gonna start fucking with the new man's wife, and that's gonna be some shit too. So then we see you know, Esperanza and Natalie are walking back to Natalie's house. Lucien finally pulls in, and you know, Natalie was like, well look, I'm gonna make your favorite dinner and all that tonight. And he was like, oh, for real? Oh, that's what's up. He was like, shoot, because I was actually gonna, you know, shower and then was gonna go hang out with Steven and the guys at the pub. And then all of a sudden you see the radar going off in Esperanza. Oh, Steven's gonna be at the pub? He was like, well yeah. She was like, oh, it's funny, he did mention that to me earlier. Bitch, no the fuck he didn't. But then we seen that her little damn antenna started wiggling, because the next thing you know, we go to the damn scene at the pub. This bitch Esperanza shows up in a hot tamale dress with the girl sitting out and is hugging every single bit of her frame. I'm like, oh, bitch going up in there to serve sex kitten to fucking Steven. And she goes there. Rick is there too. They start drinking. You know, she's taking shots or whatever, and she's trying to throw herself on the Stevens. And Stevens is like literally paying her dust. And then we come to find out that Eddie has a wingman there who called Eddie and said that Esperanza just showed up in here. She got this short ass dress on and she over there with Stevens. But Stevens ain't really giving her what she wants, and she's just serving the girls and trying to say that, look, I'll leave the porch light on for you. And she's like, man, I ain't nobody got time for you and your drama, Esperanza. You know, I'm a grown-ass man, and I ain't got time to be hopping in and out of windows and shit, dealing with your ass. So, he had another chick that he was there rocking with. He rode out there with her, and she was just in her feelings. Totally in her feelings. So, yeah. Steven got that good, because she loving it. So, she was in her feelings. Her and Rick are sitting there talking, going back and forth. And she starts to go in on Rick. But in somewhat I was with her because some of the things she was saying was right. We come to find out that Rick actually used to do security for Travis's family's church, which is why he started to kind of backpedal when it came down to Kelly. Because at first he was with Kelly trying to help her, but then all of a sudden, when Travis started, you know, fucking with things, he turned on her and that other police officer that Rick was working with. So we come to find out that I think that both of them were working with Travis's family. So, and then like he was saying that, oh, I also know some other stuff, but I can't really say. So I think Rick also knows that Kelly's innocent, but he's folding his hands and not saying shit. So she pretty much goes off and she was saying that she has a son and she's about to be ripped away from her child and you're sitting back and not doing anything. Why aren't you doing anything for her? Like, what kind of man are you? And all of that. And then like next thing you know, she pretty much tells him like, get the fuck out of here, leave me the fuck alone, and you're paying for these damn drinks. I'm like, bitch, you're really getting bold right now, but okay. But Rick ends up leaving because he's trying to like calm her down or whatever. And then he even kind of like was letting her know before they got into the argument that, look, girl, why you playing? You know, Steven likes you, and yeah. And she's like, oh, you think so? She's like, yeah. And I know you like him too. So, like, why are you playing these games? You know? Yeah. So pretty much after that went down, we see that Eddie comes in, and the guy that called him is named Rick. And I'm thinking, okay, are you and Rick doing some funny business? Because we definitely know you've been doing some funny stuff up with Larry while he was up in there, you know, putting on, you know, his foundation Pancake 31 before he went to go talk to the press. Because, you know, Larry, you know, is spearheading this thing because the Travis's family is his biggest client at his firm. So he's going to pretty much protect that family at all costs. So we see all that go on. So, but we see that Rick tells him, oh yeah, Steven's left though. And he's like, nah, that's, because he told him on the phone, like, nah, that's a ruse. They're going to go meet up later. I know it. But then he tells old boy, like, yo, here's the keys. You know, the keys here. Make sure you have your men up in the house so when he show up, y'all can take his ass out. So they going to have people go inside Esperanza's house. And if Steven shows up, their orders is to kill Stevens. We're going to see how that's going to play out. So he got 4 guys on the way to the house. And we see that Esperanza is there talking to this guy. Eddie goes over there, gets real defensive, starts talking his shit. And the guy was like, yo, who the fuck is your problem? And he's like, oh, is this your beer? He's like, yeah, it's my beer. So what? He took the beer and cracked the guy in the head. They start fighting. And then we see his boys come and start fighting Eddie. So I'm like, Eddie is just so damn evil and so damn vindictive. It's like all Eddie does every episode is just fuck with everybody. He was fucking with Lucian, fucking with Stevens, and now he fucking with Esperanza. It's like Eddie ain't happy unless he's bringing hell to somebody's life, and it's crazy. So that's what I have, y'all. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. I'd love to talk to you about it. But subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, follow me on all of my social platforms. I have them all listed in the description box. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And I'll be back with the next episode of If Loving You Is Wrong. So until next time, everybody, take care.